One of the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, Southeast Nigeria is the home of the Igbos, one of the 3 main ethnic groups in Nigeria. The Igbos are people steeped in culture and traditions, and while women in Igbo land are respected for their roles as mothers and caregivers, they also face challenges related to gender inequality and discrimination. One of the key challenges is gender-based violence. While 2 out of 3 women in Nigeria have experienced domestic violence, results show significant ethnic differences, with Igbo women more likely to have experienced sexual and emotional violence compared to Yoruba women. Recently, Center for the Right to Health initiated a project aimed at changing attitudes towards gender-based violence against people with disabilities in Imo State, Southeast Nigeria. This video breaks the silence on this very serious issue and tells the stories of the lived experiences of these women in their own voices.
Gender-based violence is really any form of violence that people experience differently from other genders as a result of their gender.
Gender-based violence is all those exercises that are harmful to any human being. It may be a woman, it may be a man. Gender-based violence is an abuse done to any man or woman that is intended to kill or to hurt the person.
And the violence is not only when it's just physical violence. The violence can be emotional in nature. It could be financial when they're not getting the resources they need to live in dignity. It could be spiritual, okay, when they are made to feel less value of what, or not even fitting, or to feel like a cause. Persons with disability actually suffer a lot more gender-based violence, and women with disability in particular are more at risk of gender-based violence.
See, every other moment, if you don't care, I hope they will know you. What's why I can't take Kiki? I say, it's Finiki Gala. I don't make intimidate. My Copa again. Manahona Honiga, you can't fight them. So that intimidation appears to make HHC or that. In fact, Gabia regrets won't make it. So let the hate get the cup again and what. So all these things need to try. I could show more matter. And make it. In fact, when the next woman here, I commit suicide. Because I can say when's the reason for them EBC. Even your own family member, you're making head to it. So there's no use for you to live.
When we got there, he left me with his friend, who raped me, then used a white handkerchief to clean me up.
Just often you find out that there are factors like cultural factors that could be driving vulnerability. So, but then there's also something like a fetish, a cultural fetish that uses dehumanizes. It's almost like they tell you, go and get a goat, go and get a chicken, or go sleep. It's really, that is where it comes a lot. Go sleep with a person, and let's okay, use the wipe and chief, wipe it as evidence, and bring a portion of this person. That is some of the experiences that our people are recounting.
So I got school. Donga, one DBA Korea with the one boy. So my Hana Bamam Shim Biao Adam and Motore Bron, and with the art film. I know Shahuja art film. Can go Bron, who just saw art my film.
Another zinga. That was them era in Yawoki. So, Yafu Mazil in Yawoki. I can't see. Were here white, thank you white. It's Shama who wants so that's the Morozi in your mazil. If ever one of that, she, I shall more John up with me. ye me 3 months o ye me mam kadi ma kpọrọ zinga health center main test ya oze shi ari n'ime
so why you gba nkwanu machine he yo so ya chi oja ho to ga ya okay so ono ga la fi mi agala o ga so ha chin je register ya so register chala na I bu ya ga dom bo ha ta ga mu fun ahụ ga ime operation ma bịa gbara ma so je gbara ma ga na okwu ga nanda so je bi ego 500,000 ha che ngo je me operation so mgbe register emecha ya eme operation ya mo ya yo so mgbe ọ yọrọ ma akpọ bata so leme
They could say, go get an albino, sleep with an albino. I think that is really happening when it comes to people that are physically different.
I was devoted to the Catholic Church and Catholic activity. So there is this guy that came my way. By then I was a teenager, like a young teenager, about 16, 17. So he called me that morning and said that he was not feeling fine, that I should come and pray for him. Which I went, hoping to go and pray for someone that was not feeling fine. And then he slept with me, and that was it. Before you know it, I got pregnant. At a point, he denied the pregnancy at that moment. He was not the one and all that. So I was humiliated. I was being sent out to where I was living. I was just roaming about the street, in the street of Lagos. I slept in outside, as in the street, for so many days. No food, nothing to eat. At a point, I came across a man. And me, I was not even thinking, because the only thing I was looking for is a shelter over my head and someone that could take care of me, at least feeding and a shelter over my head. And I told him my situation, and he decided to bring me in. And before you know it, when I gave birth to that girl, Immaculata, the first 8 circles I could have with that man, I saw myself again getting pregnant. And that was how these whole children came about. And remember, I was still very small, not even thinking. So it was at a point it's like I sat down myself and I started asking myself questions. And by then, I was growing. I was like, what is wrong with me? And I realized that I am very fertile because once I have it, because the next thing is I am pregnant again. And that was how I had these 5 children.
Not only are we not taking care of them, then we are further abusing them. A woman with disability, a young girl with disability, or a woman with disability is pregnant and nobody's taking responsibility for it. It wasn't an immaculate conception. Somebody abused her. And it's important that we put it to, they are not just good enough to sleep with and not marry and not honor. So we also have to be able to let people know that you don't have a leg or you're in a wheelchair or you can't see doesn't make you less. God has a way of compensating whatever is lost in one dimension actually gets reinforced in the other senses.
His family said that instead of him to marry me, he will marry an outcast and that I will have a child that is just like me.
When someone is born shorter than normal or born as an albino or even has a physical disability, they are seen as culturally abnormal. They are seen as less than and not good enough. So that the valuing creates a challenge even for the person. Even when it comes to marriage, you meet a woman you want to marry and she has a disability, your whole culture will fight you. Now, you haven't seen people with 2 legs, it's the one that doesn't have legs that you want to marry. Oh, you haven't seen people that have legs, the one that has no color. So there's that the valuing.
Women with disabilities find it very difficult to get married when a man will agree to accept a woman, if you come to their house, the mother must may say this of the man or their friends or any relation.
You know that this person is a disabled. You know that he's a blind person, a blind woman. You tell her that you will marry her. When the blind woman got pregnant, you deny he starts abusing the woman. So who do you want to take care of that blind woman? So that thing is another violence. It's also gender-based.
Nna nwa mụ na ya kwadoro na anyị ga-alụ onwe anyị alụ. Mana mgbe ọ bịaziri dọrọ gbajuo dọrọ, imetụla ọnụ na-asị m dị ime. Ya na oso eme. Ezigo gara mmadụ gakwa ga-azị ya ka anyị bịa ọ bịa mee ihe o kwesịrị ime. Mgbe ahụ m hụrụ na ime ha eruole emont. Ọ jụrụ ajụ. Wee kwere ma nga ugbu a. Ụkwụ ya nwe mgbe ọ kpara n'ụlọ anyị. Nyekwana m ego ka m nwee ike ji nyere aka ya sụ famili ya na ọ sị na instead ya ga-alụ m ha ga-alụrụ osu na m wee zbit nyere ezinụlọ ha. Na ihe m ga-amụ ụkwa ihe ahụ nne m mụọ. Ebe ọkwanụ na instead m ga-egbu nwa nọ n'afọ nwekwana ọta mma m ga-eme kemgbe ahụ ugbu a m kwuru mụta nwa 9 months ago. Naanị m lekọtaga nwa m. Ihe ọ chọziri ka o cheke ma nwa aha anyị ọ dị mma ka o nwee ike zọbata echi mana ajụrụ m ajụ kemgbe ahụ m kwuru mụta nwa na mụcha nwa ọ bịaga ahụ ọ nọkatakwa na jụ ese ele otu ihe echi agaga malitere na first month ruo na ending.
Year 2007, I get pregnant with a guy that I feel that he loves me. Then, when I got pregnant, I told him that I'm pregnant. I bet him my mother. See an adimima. That's good no mamma and my call there. That's okay. I like him with the guy. I got about the guy I bear. But you be a jeribia, mommy my joy or put it. It's mommy so can not be a who died Zimo. Yahu died Zimo. That my joy or put it. That's all I was in. No one know Yabacha on your yala. Mama say okay, can't prosper gathering the parents. Since that the parents have baby. Biajuna, Mama Hokobri na ha ka ha na ka ja call ha. Me na ha so gama. Anya garo na gate. Almost 1 hour, 2 hours and I kwaka na gate. When na putana. When ke putara want the mother of the son. Ya puta. Obo njo ofutara. Obo say hey gini ogini. Ya ho gini. Ele ha ja kuga na gate. Why are you patching the gate? Ele ha plan na gate. Mummy ma see an oh na ga pata fku no lo no mother ka. Okay na bata no lo, na bata no lo wo nye. When about no onye ka no better. Who invited you? Onye me no invite. Ka na ekwu brother bamba. Chideke kpekpe he rara bata no ya. Chideke kpekpe he rara bata no ya. But for be party. Brother, chideke kpekpe.
I was a guy. We agreed to marry. Along the line, we are going on. Along the line, when the time reached, when you want to come to my family, you meet their parents. Like this is somebody that you want to marry, and the parents said no because I'm a disabled. And the guy did not marry me again. Being a woman, being a disabled, even in the community, there are some way you go to the community when you talk, you say, this person is a disabled person. You have no mouth. What he's going to say. So we are facing much, more especially in the hands of men.
I am always walking like a lion and eating like an ant. If I was not disabled, somebody like me, I know where I will be.
Often you find out that there are factors like cultural factors that could be driving vulnerability. That could be religious beliefs and patriarchal concepts that drives vulnerability for all women, but more so for these women who are disabled, who are living with disability, because they can often seem as less than. When people, you protect what you value, isn't it? But when women with disability are not as valued, women in general are often not as valued as men in our culture. Now you are a woman with disability, so you're even less valuable. So there doesn't seem to be an investment in protecting you as much as protecting other women. You are even lucky to have food, to be alive. You are expendable.
And athletics, name wheelchair tennis, name basketball. Like I say, I'm a Paralympian. I went to Tokyo 2020. I won Nigeria wheelchair tennis. I won for Africa gold last year, 2023. BNP, hold in Abuja, wheelchair tennis. I won the gold to represent Africa in Portugal. I got the visa. I do not have any support because I'm a disabled. If I thought that I'm able, I would have a support. That my visa just end like that without traveling. The able ones that traveled, you know how they are taking good care of them. They always be announcing on the radio, this, that, giving them award. But being disabled person, nothing. I just go, come back. I'm always walking like a lion and eating like a ant. And it vexes me. Sometimes they say, if I am not a disabled, I'll be somebody like me. I know the level I'm supposed to be.
Ndị wonde ga ahụ disables, I ha ga-akpọ ha. Ụfọdụ prefer ka ha gaa na arịrịọ, but me onwe m echuzuru ka m ganyere onwe m aka site n'ịkụ table tennis, nna akụ table tennis ọfụma. O nwere some trophies ndị na-ebe a m nwechara. Tutu iwe wezire m, nna hụ sometimes m tufuo ya. Ọsọ nwa akonyeziri anyị ga-agacha competition bata nwa ya gasị gị were ihe dị otu a, were gbara onwe aka, but rather akechụra m obi si ka m menwe instead of m gagara m arịrịọ.
I read my HND, ND and HND, mass communication. Then from there, I start coping. For now, I'm not doing anything, but I have applied in many places, in many organizations. They will take others, they will not take me. Years ago, in this Mary's police station, one man said they should bring about 8 persons. Then I was among the 8. When we went there, they selected 7. They didn't select me. I was asking why. They said I will come back. Till now, they never called me. I have applied in many places, but they didn't want me to work.
I'm no go NCE level. Otu ugbo am no na etuge m ọrụ mana n'ihi ọwụ ihe disable. Ọgbajugodo dọrọ na disable ọwụ ndị disable ewere ndị otu ha unless m iwe enyi ha nwoke ma oke nwaanyị. Ọwụ ya na ị ga-enweta ihe ha ruo na ihe ahụ ha kpụrụ ndị ha ma tiga. Aya nwe ọrụ m nwetara achọkwara m ọrụ mana enwetaghị m. Anyị na-ekwukwe na St. Teresa's Catholic Parish Obolo. Amakwa ya ama ebe ọzọ dịka enwe ihe dịka program. Onye kpụrụ anyị program ya anyị na-abịakwa bịa kwere ya ukwe nke ọma. Anyị nwere ike nweta ihe dịka 1000 or 2000 were ya zụrụkwa ihe rie mana abịa na chọọchị anyị nọ n'ime ya ha maara anyị dịka onye na-ekwu ukwe mana njem ndị disable wụ na-agakọta n'ihu alawa azụ unless m iji anya ije ele ha ọwụ ya ọgwụla na ha ga-elewe gị.
It's very heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking because we do not, that's why I said, because we are often seen as beggars. We are often seen as less than. Without understanding that it's not our physical ability or it's not our disability that had made us less. It's the fact that the opportunities that we need to be able to fulfill the best that is in us has not been granted us. We have not been valued. Because you polish what you value. So our system, once they see a disability, you're dismissed.
Wherever any office is, they should consider our accessibility, because if the access to that place is not tolerant to us, we cannot move in.
The government's approach to disability has not been very encouraging. It took many years, over 20 years of advocacy to get them to pass the Anti-Disability Discrimination Act in Nigeria. And that act, one of the things it requires is that no discrimination. We should create access to public spaces, create opportunities, access to free healthcare services. But that has not really materialized. Barely anywhere is accessible in Nigeria.
As a woman with a disability, it is not easy for me, especially in the public places, like in a place that I am working. We hardly have a restroom. Most time you move out And before you could go to the place you get to hide yourself and urinate or do whatever as a woman, you know, as a woman, you have to raise you up with your dress and whatever before you can do anything. Again, when you travel, you see yourself in a luxury bus or whatever you travel. When we get to the public place that they used to eat, you find it difficult to still ease yourself. So what I normally do when I'm traveling, I won't drink water until I reach where I'm going to. And you know what it means for one not to take water when even you are thirsty. When I come to the office, if I don't see anybody that will bring out the wheelchair for me, I will stay there until I see somebody that will help me and bring out the wheelchair. Then when I'm alone in the house, when I get to the place I'm living, I won't call anybody to bring out the wheelchair for me. I will leave it in the car and crawl inside, so that in the morning it will be easy for me to enter rather than going to call somebody, please come and put the wheelchair, come and do this. I don't like really disturbing people.
And wherever any office is, or even in the hospital or bank, anywhere, they should consider our accessibility. Because if the access to that place is not good, it's not tolerant for us, we cannot move in. We cannot access bank, we cannot access hospital. So they would do something. Or even if it's ramp, they put ramp. Make their doors wide enough to accommodate the wheelchair. Some drivers on the way, once they see most of us with a wheelchair, they won't carry us. You will be there standing along the road, all suffering from this immense sunshine. At times you will not reach to your destination as at when we suffered it. In the office, the same thing. They should consider us. Not only that, I would like the government to approve and implement our disability law. It will help a lot.
It is one thing to have the policy. It's another thing to have the institutional framework. But where there is a will, there is a way. We need to be able to work with our engineers. It's not only just the government. We need civil society. We need professional associations and organizations to really come together and begin to see how do we ensure that these needs are met.
Abusers don't stop because you are vulnerable. When you look at gender-based violence, it is about power.
The vulnerability of women with disability to gender-based violence is a lived experience even for me. And if there's anything that I could do to protect other women with disability, this is personal. Abusers don't stop because you're vulnerable. Because when you look at gender-based violence, it's really about power. So now when you're so much more powerless, abuser feels so much more powerful, and I hurt you even more. And even when you speak it out, it sounds like, why are you trying to rock the boat? Oh, we all experience it. The women in the family will say, oh, it's not a big deal. And that is really what I'm hoping that will call attention to, that it is a big deal for the abused. It is a big deal for the person living it. I know they need to be protected. We need to be protected. I need to be protected. We need to break the silence. There's so much unseen scars. There are so much scars. We have physical scars, but the deep emotional scars. It will take a whole community of change, an army of compassion to help us heal, so that women can begin to feel safe. When I go to the hospital in America, the first question they ask me, are you safe at home? I'm looking forward to
when that will become a routine question in Nigeria, when we will ask women, are you safe at home? Because a lot of women are not safe in their own homes. And nobody's asking because nobody cares. I want us to care.